How is everyone doing today? Good. Those of you who are guests, my name is Michael Mirdad, and I serve here as part of the spiritual leadership. And we usually ask spontaneously what's going on in people's minds, what you want me to share or talk about. So feel free to share as long as it's something that feels really, really important to your soul and your growth. Okay? Anybody?
Spiritual integrity. Honesty. Fear.
Duality.
Forgiveness.
Compassion.
Family.
Awareness. Yin yang.
Male-female relationship. Friend.
Okay.
She didn't say sex.
Yeah. For the folks here and the folks watching online, always a vast variety, but spiritual integrity, honesty, family, awareness, masculine, feminine, and relationship of male, female, compassion, duality, and so on. So we'll weave those together now. Something I shared last week, and then, we went into some deep conversation around this, but remembering that it's so amazing to me. Like we actually think that what we see is actually the world. We actually think we're people that incarnate in this big world and we just have this little role we're playing. We forget that we're actually dreaming the world into existence. As many indigenous tribes from Africa, Australia, throughout different parts of the world, that we dream the world into being. So it's interesting because we sort of play small so quickly and so easily. We play small, and some of us are like, "Yeah, man, I believe we're empowered beings, and we're powerful beings, and so on." But ironically, it becomes almost challenging for people to apply this in our day-to-day stuff. We can go, "Wow, I'm a cosmic being," but do you act cosmically with your employees, employers? With your partners, your children, especially when they're not doing things the way you want them, to do them. We have to learn to apply this in all areas of our life. And we're really, things are sort of twisted as to how they work, but God didn't create beings and then as though it's on some sort of table in Vegas, dice, good luck, kids. That's not the way this happened. God holds us in its presence. The children said, "I wonder what life would be like if we weren't part of love." The Big Bang occurred. The universe now took manifestation. In the beginning was the void. Well, the void wasn't God that was a void. The void was the emptiness that took place when we thought we would separate from fullness. Opposite of fullness, emptiness. Opposite of love, fear, anxiety, and so on and so on. So the universe, the Big Bang takes place. And it's like, wow, where are we? Where are we going? And people go into a state of fear. But the mother aspect of God says, well, my children can't separate from me, God, so I will go with them where they go. I don't mean as a little spark within us. I mean she literally flew faster than us into the universe, turned around, became a mirror to us. And so when we struggle with fear, anxiety, loss, low self-worth, those are our feelings. She's there to mirror them to us, which we don't always like to own, but she's out of love and compassion. She's there to say, "Honey, how are you today?" "Oh, I'm fine." No. Mirror, how are you today? And you see it. And you have 3 partners in a row that cheat on you. She's saying, "How are you today?" Still. "Well, I'd be better if I didn't have 3 cheating partners." But did you go through the process of releasing the need for low self-worth to be mirrored? No, but I think guy number 4 is going to pull it off. And she's like, "Mirror again, warning, And we go by our beliefs that something outside fixes us. And she's saying the mirror is about life's lessons. All the lessons are the same, she's telling us. You have to learn to love and trust God, yourself, and others in that order. Because if you don't know the love and trust of God and yourself, you won't be able to manifest it in others. Others are going to instead be mirroring your not being higher in self-worth. Because all we can do is mirror to each other. This hologram of life. So she's always getting us to a place of that growth, the growing in love and trust for God, self, and others. So it's like, wow, there's a plan to all this. People have near-death experiences and they're sharing these stories. And then there's a bigger plan, and it's bigger than even they're seeing when they're on the other side. It's an incredible plan. But it's not a plan just of one of us here and there kind of waking up or becoming one with flowers or whatever. It's recognizing we've never been victims of God thrown into a harsh world, told to try to pull it off as best we can. And if you really pull it off really well, you'll be a respected teacher someday, telling other people about how this process works. It's all an illusion. It's all silly. But the silly part is that we would even bother imagining that we are less than God created us to be. And we settle. It's just kind of bizarre. It makes no sense at all. But you could say it's a spiritual psychosis. We're in this bizarre trance that we're something other than God created us to be. And when we say, it's easy to say, love is, and we can sing songs, and hold hands. But the very idea, God has never separated from us. We just manufactured a belief that we're separate from God. So we're out here thinking we're separate, trying to earn our way back. And words like you're asking, compassion and fear, and how could we not feel fear if we're separate from love? That's terrifying. So we're in this world and we realize, there's more to this than I thought. And love is always trying to say hello. If I'm out of the way, love says, I love you. And it goes, and then the words come home, and then it goes this way. And there's this flow. I walk down the street and there's this, I love you, come home. And when you pray, you're getting more in touch with that voice, that thing that's saying, I love you, come home. I wonder what God has to say to me today. I love you, come home. And we're like, no, which person should I date? Come on, I'm running out of time. I've got to get, something happening. So I send it, yes, I'm open, to them in our, shallowhookups.com site or whatever. So I need some responses, Lord. I'm waiting, And God's just, I love you, come home. And we hear, oh, that one. Then you date him and go, what happened, God? I thought you told me. And God's like, no hablo inglés. I have nothing to do with you and your weird interpretations. All I said was, I love you, come home. Exactly, I love you meant them. Our filters, our interpretations are off. Our inner interpreter is broken because the ego, that's what the ego does, is keep us out of touch with the voice of God. And the voice of God would say, I love you, come home. Okay, fine, I hear you. But while I'm still here, can I date? Come on, which is it? And we think God prefers which car to buy. Well, a blue one, because God loves blue. More than orange. That's more of a lower chakra. God likes, upper chakra colors. God's like, oh, you people, so God doesn't say that guy, that girl, this, that. It doesn't. It says, I love you. And if we want to learn to interpret properly, we learn to say, well, which person resonates most with love and self-worth? Not which one does God want, because you're going to secretly sabotage that anyway. You're going to try to get what you want or what you need. What you want in terms of your shallow ego moment, I want that person, or what you need, which means I'm still dealing with low self-worth, so I need another person that's hurtful to me. Yeah, there's all this, Just yesterday. So there's this flow. Picture that. This flow in, this flow back. I love you, come home. It's just so beautiful. And that's also healing. When you're sharing, doing healing on others or on yourself, this flow is meant to go in and out unimpeded. But it doesn't usually make it that way. It starts to come in and tense muscles in the shoulders as far as it can go. Or it gets stuck somewhere in an organ, a gland, scar tissue, etc. There's this concept between spirit and flesh. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. And the flesh is weak doesn't mean just temptation and all that sort of thing. We're talking about, and the flesh is stuck. Here comes divine abundance, prosperity. Yes, it just stuck there. It didn't come all the way to the root chakra in the form of cash. Down here on the root level, material world, ka-ching. It's like, it's so nice that I have these lofty concepts about prosperity, but it never seems to make it to my bank account. Somewhere it's blocked. I don't deserve over in this gland, this chakra. It always goes away. Or if I have too much money, I'm not spiritual. And my religion said, all these weird things, and it's just all stuck. And we learn to open. Healers, whether they're opening areas of tissue, whether someone's opening structurally, whatever the case, there's supposed to be this flow of God's presence. And oh my God, it just doesn't seem to be easy to get it to that place. Because something enters, I love you, and we start to feel it. Yeah, but, on an unconscious level, yes, I know you love me, God, but you don't know what I said to so-and-so yesterday, and you don't know about that thing I did when I was 15, etc. So we have all these bizarre things. God didn't say, I love you as long as. It's just perfect love casts out fear. Also means perfect love dissolves tensions and stuckness and issues and belief systems, and if we allow it. That's the catch. I've taught I've done body work for years and showing people how to do this a bit more effectively and efficiently. Also taught sacred sexuality and that topic, about just to open and the ease of flow through the body in and out. Just call it orgasmically or call it energetically or call it peacefully. There's just meant to be this flow. So I'd go to these conferences. And it's always kind of interesting. I'd go as a keynote speaker, and you have all these practitioners and healers of Tantra and sexuality and whatever. And they're sitting, and it's interesting because their minds are already made up that a topic like that means more is better. I want to know how to have more of that. I want to meet more people that are open to being sensual and all that. And again, this topic, in a sense, we're starting to go, because you asked about duality, spirit and flesh. And I talked about the Mother, the Holy Spirit of God, sets us up with lessons, and a lot of them are about spirit versus flesh. But religion taught us it's one or the other. You're either in touch with God or you're a sinner of the flesh, right? So I go to these conferences, and it's so interesting. Give you a little window if you haven't been to these kinds of events, this little window in there, And it's interesting. There's, people just, hello. Hello, beloved. There's this nice little flowish kind of thing, And so I would go and do a talk, and I would demonstrate activating everybody in the room. And energy starts going through people and da-da-da, and all kinds of tingly, buzzy things, and everybody's getting all excited. So then I'm done, and it's like typically the male tantrikas, as they're called, they would come up, oh, Michael, that was beautiful, man, no, whatever, And, can you teach us how to do that? Well, no. I wouldn't teach such a thing, first of all, to sexual manipulators. But I would say, because typically there's two types of people doing this work, healthy and unhealthy. Unhealthy, I'll say it this way, healthy practitioners, males, are about 5% of the people doing the work. The females, it's about 50-50. But that's how this goes. But the guys would be like, hey, can you teach us? And I would say, well, I'll tell you one very important lesson. And there's this leaning in. Yeah. I'll share something that's the key that unlocks all this. The rest is technique and so on. But there's a key to understanding how to, your clients and your lovers, they're like, oh, this is really cool. Hey, you know, hey, runner by the lake, come here, and they're, you know, they have these tantric names and, hey, swirling energy chi. And they call everybody over. Forgive me, man, I'm just being silly, but they bring them all over and they all lean in. And I'll say that here's the secret to that kind of level of understanding and activation. They all lean in. You don't have a body. And there's this looking, and they're like, no, really, man, what's the secret? In knowing that you don't have a body. No, but we're asking, how do you get into it? See, you can't understand, arouse, awaken the body and let this energy of God love flow if you think you're a body. That's the weird irony and paradox. Because if you think you're a body and it's doing things to other bodies, you're now a limited mortal being, so you can't do unlimited things. You have to actually, and even with you and your partners and lovers, learn to say, help me to see them through your eyes. Instead of, no, I got this one covered. Well, please stay outside the door and bedroom door, and shut the door. Bring God into everything. How would you have me see this? What would you have me do? How would you have me understand? We are not people, just mortals. We're not humans like we think. We are not here to have an occasional spiritual experience. We are spirits having an occasional physical experience. So we are spirits having human experience. We're not humans waiting for that occasional spiritual experience. You see the difference? We must understand that and accept that. You have to get beyond the head, the thinking, the techniques of life. And if you're a healer, I don't care, any chiropractic, tantra practitioner, massage therapist, Reiki practitioner, surgeon, help me to see this through your eyes. Ask to see your clients more like they really are. If I'm willing to see the light in you that even you can't see, I can help some of your obstacles start to dissolve. Well, how do you do that if it's their obstacles? Because we're one. You can't be thinking of, I want to hook up and get something from somebody. I want to do surgery on somebody, get paid from somebody. We're all in this together. I care how the surgery goes with you. I care how this thing goes or that thing goes. And I care how you feel physically, emotionally. And even when you're being intimate and somebody has this moment of clenching up because a memory's coming up, man, you be right there with them on that level. Not, this is kind of an inconvenience, this, emotional issues coming up when we were having a good old time. You just made yourself, it's called, and the Word was made flesh. See, that's what happened once upon a time. The Word is known as the Christ in scriptures, but also in other teachings. The Word of God is us being spoken and made into beings. So God spoke us into creation. Now we exist, and then the scriptures tell us, opening right up with the Gospel of John, because John was more mystical instead of caring about history. He was like, man, let's just go for the cool stuff. So he just goes for it. And in the beginning was the Word was with God, the Word was God, and that's us. But the Word was made flesh is another common theme. We're the Word that was made flesh. How was it made flesh? Because we went from knowing who we are to density. The flesh just became a mirror of what we believe about ourselves. And so if I focus on a person and think, as a surgeon, oh man, your body's really broken. Oh, I don't know what we're going to do. That's not a great place to be. And if your surgeon's doing that, you say, do you have any other surgeons around? They could be beginners. I don't care. As long as they have a different attitude. The more the surgeon looks at you as damaged, the less success he can have. Because he's already predetermined you're a limited being. When you go to counselors who say, well, with your background, you'll probably never heal and you're going to be taking these meds forever, which I understand there's a time and place for all those things, surgery, pills, etc. But as soon as they say that's it and they resolved it, that's your title, your label, you start to become that. Not, I believe in miracles, not, I believe in infinite power. It's, these programs. And pretty soon, it sets in our body, it sets up in our mind, it sets up in our emotions. And we don't seem to have the ability to just shake these things off. And there's all kinds of ways of turning this around, primarily forgiveness. And I don't just mean forgiving hurtful people. I have to forgive that I ever believed I was a limited being. You see what I'm saying? I have to forgive all of it, everything. I have to forgive that it looks like there's a material world. Well, why don't we just learn to embrace the physical? Again, every time you come into the belief system, and this is the really tragic part, the ego's job, it knows that you think you're separate from God and that the Word was made flesh. It knows that, and it feeds off of that. But it thrives, not just feeds off, it thrives off of getting you to believe it every day. Every day that you say, I'm hungry, I need to eat something, oh, there, I feel better. You actually said, universally, I am but a body. Feed me, and I'm all the better. When in fact, when you ate to fill your stomach to feel better, you're affirming, I'm nothing but this receptacle. I am my stomach. Once it's filled, I'm better. What do you mean you're better? You don't even have a stomach. You're a light being. But you think a full stomach makes a difference. You think that a marriage certificate makes a difference. You think that having had children in the womb, oh, that makes me a complete woman. None of these things are true. Walking down the street, I'm a leg man. You know, really? Seriously? That's it? Yes. I mean, I don't know. Call me silly. But wow. I'm an infinite being, greater than the universe itself, one with God. Now, not me. I'm a leg man. But every day we do these identifications. One time I was sitting and we were having kind of a hanging out conversation, a couple of people at conferences, speakers. And a couple guys, they were speakers, but they were also well-known healers, counselors and such. And we're sitting there, just letting our hair down, just hanging out. Hey, nice to, be able to chat with you guys. How you guys doing? Good. Wow, great conference. Oh, yeah, hanging out, And one of them says, hey, listen, can I ask you guys a personal question? And we're like, yeah. One of them says, be honest now. We're all doing work with people all the time. And when you have a beautiful woman sitting in front of you and you're taking her through a process of some kind and she's eyes closed and blah, 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 how do you guys handle that? I mean, wow, isn't that something? The one guy says, well, I block that. I resist it. That's one thing that we do as human beings. The other guy who was asking the question says, not me. You know what I do? I just allow it. I just own it, that I'm aroused. I'm kind of attracted. See, and that sounds kind of cool too in its own way, because at least they're being honest with themselves, right? You see that theory? So the one is like, I resist it. I can see value of that, because people throughout history have tried to resist by shaming things and, oh, no, not me, right? And the other type, well, I just allow it. I'm just embrace it and so on. And they look at me. So Michael, what do you do? I go, I'm busy. I mean, honestly, I said, my answer, I'm working. Like I'm kind of busy at the moment. I'm not like, well, first let me check out the client and then eventually get to somewhere, some work with the person. I'm busy. And it's like, it never occurred to them that you might be, busy. So we have different ways of coping with these things. And I'm not claiming to be special and cool. This is just how my mind works in this regard. Generally, we should allow love in our lives. We should allow affection. If we don't allow affection, then we stand the chance of creating a cold society. But then there's also the little things that could go weird when you are too affectionate or you're affectionate, people can get triggered. So we learn to be more responsible instead of no affection in my life because the world has done harm. Or the opposite extreme, of course, not cool. Learn to communicate. Hey, is it okay if, after service, we sometimes have shared hugs. Hi, good to see you, whatever. I think it's a beautiful and a warm thing to do with each other. All of you, hi, good to see you, hug. just make sure it's clear in here. And if somebody, you hug 9 people, and the 10th one is somebody you've been hoping to date, at some point tell them, I give you a hug, but I have to admit, there's kind of personal feelings. Just be cool with it. And if it's said to you and that's not where you want to go, say just thank you very much. And step back, just let it be okay. Don't shame, don't trip out, don't scream and run out the room, it's okay. It's okay. But let people know where you're at. That's not where I'm at right now. That's not what I'm doing, or no thank you, or something simple. Then we can all just stop the pretenses. We can stop the strangeness. And, who are you? What are you about? It's good to see you. And you love giving hugs and, whatever it is. Or just smiles. But there's lots of ways to share our gifts. Smile, gifts of some kind, hugs, taking someone's hand when they're upset. These are all forms of affection, but affection is only one part of healing. But it is healing. It can be healing with the right consciousness and intention. So if somebody were to say at these conferences, some of these guys would get really triggered by me saying, there are no bodies. No. And they get all upset. But if you get upset, you just confirmed you're one of the 95% of the unhealthy ones. If you're one of the few percent healthy, you would be okay with me saying what I'm saying. To back off on the addiction aspect of things and learn to see more profoundly. That doesn't mean you don't see attractiveness to yourself. It doesn't mean you can't date. It just means you're doing things differently, more maturely, greater communication around it. So it's just beautiful when I imagine, because see, the blocks, when that energy comes in and up again, there should be no blocks. And if I have a block about someone hugging me, I want to do something with that block. And I might say, is it okay to give you a hug? Is it okay if you hug me? It dissolves it. It's like a body worker contacting a tense muscle, talking, working it through, and it opens up. Is that making sense? Work the things through. If you don't blame the rest of the world. It's everything in its time. And the mother will always be there to mirror the present lessons, whatever it happens to be. Well, I have these issues because when I was growing up, people were shaming being gay, and that triggers me now. Work it through and talk it through to where, here I am. Energy just flowing through. It's kind of cool. And it can be awkward at times. This is a funny story happened. I'll share this with you. But this weekend, Judy had one of her estate sales, and some of us work there or volunteer, and I volunteer there. And this is just how I am. Poor people. Anyway, I see this gal wearing this cool skirt, and I thought, but I do this in front of other people so that it doesn't look like it's weird. I'm going, can I ask you a question? And another person's there, and I'm going, what do you call that particular style of skirt? And there's a name. When it's half skirt and half pants, I forget. Whatever you just said, okay. There's this thing, but there's pants under, and it's just a skirt. And I'm like, that's just so cool, because I see like beauty. I see colors and shape, and it's not like I'm like, where did you get that dress? I got to have one. But I'm just like, I just like that style. What's that called? And she said the name of it. Strangely, she took the front of it and flapped it up, and I'm like, wait. I swear to you, I thought, she's not. And then I saw that there's shorts under it. Anyway. And she's going, yeah, and she, we giggle a little, and I'm thinking, no, but I want a pair of those. I want one of those. So I'm odd in all kinds of ways. And some people are like, yeah, as though he would actually get one. And I'm like, what do you mean? What? I would. It's no blocks. That's beautiful, and I could see my, get one. And don't buy me one and send it, please, okay? Please don't do that. I'm serious. Don't give me things. But anyway, I see and I go, that's really, I do that. When I see someone hugging, I go, that's beautiful. When I see a rainbow, I just love. I just love the thing in animals that interact and have fun with each other. I love these kinds of things. I love cows being sent out of captivity and they're going crazy doing backflips out in a field because they've never been anywhere but a cage. I love that. I'm like, I want to get a damaged cow and buy some land so he can just run freely. This is how my brain works. I mean, it is. This is, if you could be in there, that's what you'd find. Seriously. Yeah, we all know that. So,
Some of us know.
yeah. So, why are they there? These inhibitions. And even though we're laughing, it's not funny that some of them are there because we know it's pain, trauma, hurt that stuck some of these things here. Little toe, left ear, whatever, in the body. One of the most beautiful things in the world is to see when people are willing to get in touch with that and let that move through. It's the most beautiful thing. If people could, just going to this place once more, even a hug, even just taking a hand, an act of affection can allow the flow to open up. And I'm not saying I'm encouraging this because there's a lot of triggers that go on with affection. I get that. But I'm saying imagine, and the day is coming, where people can hold and allow everything to dissolve while they're being held. That is the righteous, the good, healthy male, the good, healthy female. There's no weird trips about it, or if it's male, male, female, female, it doesn't matter. It's souls. We are souls having a temporary human experience, not the other way around. We are spirits and souls. How can I get back to that? Oh, well, I heard that if you do this and that and the other. We never stopped being spirits and souls, but we think we did. And then we judged ourselves for it. And then we stuck these judgments somewhere in the body that we zipped up and started wearing every cycle that we come into this planet. And we say, this is me. So the person that thinks men, women, male, female, this relationship, intimacy, sex, and so on, you become that thing. The thing you think about, you become that thing. The thing you fear, you attract that thing. I'm not saying we don't attract nice things too. I'm just saying when our minds get stuck in flesh, so the mystics, look at the yogis. Do not trust your senses. Guys, what they're telling you when they say senses is your body. Don't trust your senses, the yogis say. The mystics, don't trust your body. And so now they're teaching everybody, don't touch anything. Right? Like, don't touch anything because it's temptation. And they murdered all these women in the Dark Ages because they were temptresses. They weren't temptresses, they were just walking down the street. You're the one who's like, I haven't had it in so long because I'm all vowing to shame sex. So I've got to look, oh my God, kill her. You know, she's a witch. How do you know? Because I got aroused and I shouldn't. It's like just twisted. Then the karma and the programming from that has people walking around today damaged from those memories. To be able to say, you know, open, despite what it shows me. I once burned a witch at the stake. I was once burned at the stake. Just any of it. Here I am. Just let the light shine. But if I open up, it might make me sad. It might, but you're already sad. Having it locked up somewhere inside doesn't mean you're safe. I am sad. I am ashamed of this, and I wish I hadn't. And that, just open. Talk to God, because, you know, it's safe. And after you talk to God and or a safe other, because you might choose a counselor or a sponsor before God first, you know, time-wise. Doesn't matter. The point is, get to the place where you can say anything. There's nothing in me that I'm not willing to let the light shine on. That doesn't mean you walk through Safeway going, hey, listen, when I was 5, you know, and they're like, I was just here to buy Cheerios and a Cheerio. That's not what I'm suggesting. It's always about appropriate timing and place. But do not sit at home saying, if I had someone safe, I would talk. Because you're sabotaging yourself. There's always someone. When I lay on a chiropractic table, you know, that doesn't make sense. you know. And sometimes I tell them, a massage therapist, hope you don't mind, you know, just stretching those muscles. It feels good, you know, but I communicate that I'm, you know, receiving this and opening up the body, and I allow a little moan groan. It's not excessive, but I just allow that, whatever's natural. Oh, just moving and opening. Oh, you know, like that. It's natural. It's beautiful. There are cultures that talk about voicing that sort of thing. Pain, hurt, loss, sadness, grief, whatever it happens to be. Just, let that be. You know, you can squeeze the right friend. You can squeeze them just like, here, come here, you know, and they come up and they're really angry. Squeeze me. Now, some of you are like, no, man, I don't want their negative energy within my aura. Listen, if you're afraid of their negative energy, it's already there. You already have it. So let them come up. Let them squeeze. Come on, squeeze me. Come on, like I'm a grape. Pop me. Just squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Oh, I'm so mad at what he did and she did to me. And yes, squeeze. Oh, you gave him permission. Oh, God, I feel so much better. And all you did was let them squeeze you. Always in the appropriate time and place. I mean, you know, there's right time. But something like that can help. But don't you think also just holding and just... See, and for some reason, you know, some of us do that. Like when I do that, I'm tempted. I want to just start to move and rock. And some of you do that when you meditate. You start to rock forward or side to side. Why is that? It's because you can feel consciously when you're thinking in bodies, you're not aware of it, but there's energy flows happening in your body. Like this, up and down the front and back and front. And then also there's this swirl of energy. Your aura has kind of a whirlwind of energy around. And so you start to feel it. And you start to, you got more spiritual and consciousness. You lightened up for a moment. So you feel the natural movement. Your body starts to respond. However, if I were hugging someone, good to see you, a moment of comfort, sometimes that's what they need. Another time it's, you know, squeeze. Another time it's just shake hands. But look at it, because you hug, and if things feel safe enough, you might start, you know. But for some people, what the heck is going on? You know, you're hugging somebody's husband, and the two of you just start, you know, like she's going to be going, oh, that's just so beautiful. She's going to be like, you know, you know, you know. So what do? Lock up, man. Shut it all down. No affection. No. That's one way to go. And that's a lot of planet Earth. There's the opposite, and it's extreme, and it's a lie. To do the opposite extreme and call it God. It's not always God. It has to be in your intention, in your ability to love and care about people. You know, somebody asked me semi-recently, a therapist who was saying, you know, I sort of started having a strong attraction towards a client. What do I do? Well, you can hide it. You can shut it down. You can overly act upon it, or you can talk about it if that's what's needing to be done. If you can just readjust it, it's gone. It's good. And what I was saying to them in part was, there's something very profound when we can shift from what I want to what's needed in the moment. Yeah, but I'm attracted. What if it's my soulmate? What if, I don't care how what if it is. I don't care how good it looks, sounds, feels, etc. For me personally, and I was saying to them, something profound happens when you join another human being and say, where are we at? And if something's needed, meaning you'll do more help. And I said this even to my own family members. I don't care about family members. If you can't hear me because I'm a family member, then I'm not a family member anymore. I care more about what I can do for you than I am a title. You see? And I know that's hard for some people, but I told my children that. Well, but you're our dad. Okay, I'm not. I'll retire and resign. I'm here to help. That's what I care about. I want to be more helpful than I need to be your partner, your dad, your mother, whatever role. Now, not all of us want to do that because we want to be assigned a little title and we go, look at me, I'm a title. When you leave this planet, what matters is the service, how helpful you have chosen to be. And sometimes I've walked away from potential things, where somebody was, getting close to me and I saw that there was something going on in their life and I switched it into how can I be helpful? Once in a blue moon that I've walked away from such a thing just laughing at myself going, dude, you're crazy, And but I say it and I laugh at it. I don't like, oh my God, I missed my chance. That could have been my twin flame. Guys, I swear, I don't care. I don't care if you're my twin flame, triple flame. I don't care what you are, okay? I don't care. What matters to me, I know the truth, which is, have I made a difference? Now, on the human level, it's true. You're going to be sitting there on your rocking chair knitting, well, I've made such a difference on the planet. I'm alone as hell, but, I know that. I know that. And I'm sorry that that's going to be how it feels someday, some days. But it's okay because that which is spirit, that which is flesh is flesh. If you would have gotten that one lucky moment, it will not quench this psychological emptiness inside. Being of help, being of service, being helpful is huge and beyond what people even understand. It's like that movie, It's a Wonderful Life. You would not have any idea what good you've done and the effects it's had in the world. Or you dated. This one, being of service, actually adds more light to your being. It actually heals some of your own issues and wounds if you're coming from the right mindset. And again, I think it's beautiful. You can be a surgeon and it's still okay to take the hand of your client and say, how do you feel about the surgery? Instead of, well, ma'am, paperwork, did you fill it? Just to be able to, how are you feeling about this? Well, I'm a little scared. Totally understand. And they talk to you about it. See, bridging, meeting people at the level they're at. It's not about the physical. And so look at what's happened. When we separated, when the civilizations, people, beings first came to the earth before Adam and Eve, there were beings that came to the earth. They're later considered to be like pagan cultures because they're a different tribe. But some tribes came to the earth and they were already looking at each other going, what are we now? We're bodies. Well, that's interesting. And experimenting with bodies, and they're considered sinners by other particular cultures. So the other cultures were like, no, it's only for procreation, this thing called sex, only for procreation. Everybody else, it's sinners. So it's all about secrets and shutting things down. But that's not the way it was supposed to be. That's not the way it was meant to be. That's the way we interpreted it because we go into this, I can't escape my negative feelings about this. Do you know why you have negative feelings about this? Because that's what you were programmed to think and believe about the topic. So there's spirit, there's flesh, and we were taught it's one or the other. And I'm telling you no. In between the two, there's another one, which is forgiveness. Spirit, I'm going to access spirit and ask spirit to teach me about flesh. I'm going to ask spirit to help me forgive myself for the things of the flesh. Then it starts changing how I engage in the flesh because I'm becoming more spirit. It's amazing. Now, the downside to that is it's kind of new, and now you're like, I really love bringing in this spiritual perspective of bodies and sensuality. Come to think of it, I haven't been with anybody now in 20 years. Before you know it, time's passed, and you're like so cosmic. And, sometimes it could be like, wouldn't it be nice just to, have someone once in a while, cuddle or snuggle or whatever it happens to be. Yes, so do it, but bring God into it with you. God be with me while I hold this person. God be with me while I see this person. Even if you're starting off, I'm a leg man. You know what, God, I just saw, I did it again. I was just, oh, money, pop, ooh, legs, so easily distracted. Well, laugh at yourself. Look at me. What are you doing, man? Laugh at it. But when you bring it to the light dissipates it, and it's not there. It's not a compulsion. It's not an addiction anymore. Don't just go into recovery groups. Bring God in with you. Help me to see my 12 steps, process my 12 steps. Don't just go through them. Don't do things without God's presence, because then you perpetuate the feeling of separation, angst, addiction, and misbehaving. So some cultures are like, hey man, avoid sex. Others are like, oh no man, let's all just hang out. And it's neither of those. It's doing it differently. You and I are going to change the planet because we're starting to hear and channel and share and process the concept of there being something other than black and white. Total spiritual devotion, and therefore don't touch bodies. Shame, or the opposite extreme. Oh, well, I don't believe in all that shame stuff, so I just do whatever I want with whomever I want, whenever I want. Again, this is so deep because every time you have a physical urge and answer to it, here's what's happening. You're confirming you are nothing but a body. Listen carefully to that. Food. I need a cigarette. Oh, I love, laying out in the sun. What are you laying out in the sun? My body, to get tan. Listen, that's just of the body again. You see? I need this. As soon as you get into, I need this, I want this, what you're doing is you're asking, who am I? And the answer is always from the ego, nothing but a body. So I'm going to sound for a minute like the religions. Stay away from the flesh, the temptations of women. Look at Adam and Eve. That whole thing, that whole fall was about sensuality, sexuality. So the civilizations before them fell because of sexuality. Adam and Eve fell because of sexuality. Brothers and sisters throughout the time. King David, his children, all kinds of misbehavings around this topic. So we're told, so stay away from the naughty body. And what we should have been told is learn to see it from spirit. If you walk around, and this is all of us, you walk around every time I need a massage, I need a chiropractic adjustment, I need my insulin pills, all of those things are confirming you're nothing but a body with problems. When you die, you're confirming, I read everything, I meditate, I'm still dying. This is like I failed the test because everything's a test about our awareness. Okay, now, so what are you supposed to do? Start one of those religions where you don't take medication, right? And pretend nothing's happening. No, ask God to go with you. God, I'm entering death, but this is not actually real. This is what appears to be, so be with me while I do this. God, here's my insulin pills. Part of me knows this is an illusion, but until all of me gets it, I'll take the damn pill. It's okay. Take the aspirin for a headache? Well, I shouldn't have to. Thanks for sharing, but you're not there yet. And it doesn't matter. The fact that you're not there yet, and I'm so mad that I'm not there yet, you have to forgive yourself for not being there yet. And guess what will happen? You'll get closer to being there. Because forgiveness is on earth the thing that most returns you to your divine self. By forgiving all the parts that weren't so divine. Releasing, forgiving, and so on and so on. It's like, it's okay. It's okay to have, a child. Mommy, I feel really bad because I was thinking certain thoughts, And I remember when my kids were little, they were, hey, how was school? And one of them would say, tell him, no, don't. And then you get this little, tell him, don't tell him. Come on, what happened? Well, there was this kid and he's such a jerk. And they're doing child talk, but everybody agrees. And that kid's such a jerk and he's just an idiot. And he's just this and this and this. Well, what did he do? Well, he did this and that and the other. Oh, I said, well, and I start giving, oh, God. And they'd be like, oh, God, do you have to start telling us we shouldn't really hate people? And they get all frustrated about it. I just got a kick out of it. So there's nothing like irritating your children. So it's just like, wow. So I'm kidding. But my point is they knew that's what they're going to get from me. I didn't shame them ever. Instead, it was, here's another perspective. Here's another side of looking at that. And we can get ourselves to getting to that place and understanding. If I asked you in this room, some of you have strong irritations related to religions, whether it's this current life that you've had issues or past lives. I know it. Let's talk about it. Oh, it was such a horrible past life. I know. Talk about it. You talk and you process until the flow happens. And all of a sudden you realize, wait, it was there a minute ago. There's an ache in here related to religion. It's gone. because you processed it to completion. And the same happens with intimacy, you know. If you know there's some blocks and issues and you're with yourself or a partner, you should be able to talk about that and say, you know, I'm frustrated because this doesn't work or that doesn't work, or I'm ashamed, shame here and there. Talk about this stuff till it's to completion. Let the energy be able to move through. Peaceful. This is, you know, the idea of my peace I give to you, Jesus, right? My peace I give. Peace means what? It means this flow. Wait a second, tranquility. And even if Jesus were there and said, bless you with peace, you could still later manifest more of it anyway. So our job is to not just ask once, but consistently. How can I see this differently? How can I experience this, bring this differently to the world? If you want to learn to be more affectionate, or you're just more caring, again, the surgeon who takes someone's hand, the counselor who allows themselves to hold somebody who's crying instead of, you know, this that they're told often, not always, but they're often told to do. No, I'm going to do something differently. You know, the humane person. Light workers should all know this. Humane people should all know this. How to see it all differently. Guide me. What would you have me think about this? What would you have me say differently? How would you have me see this person, say this or not say this, or whatever the case may be? Helping people feel loved, they're going to get a little attached now and then, because they're going to say, like, you're so respectful, I've not had that before. And there's going to be a temptation to get a little attached. You communicate around it. Hey, by the way, if I'm a counselor and if you're crying, do you mind if I hold you? Would it be okay if I do? Would you understand what I'm doing? Yes. Okay. Get clear and say those things ahead of time so that you've, you know, dissolved some of the stuff that could go on in the mind. Stuff, you know, humans are humans. You know, your kindness could trigger somebody into all kinds of things. You could see somebody in a grocery store and offer them help. You know, they didn't have their money and you gave them an extra $5 to help. They can misconstrue that. You can't help that people will do that. But have you communicated it as much as possible? Remember, part of what I'm saying here, and I'm going to start closing, part of what I'm saying here, and I hope I've addressed some of the main questions you guys had. It seems like we did a lot. But keep this in mind. This isn't just about duality, male, female. This is about life on earth. We are spirits who seem to be bodies, and we go around functioning as bodies. We need to eat, we need to drink, we have pills and this and that and the other to take. The world is constantly telling you, you are not a child of God. You are a mortal. If God loved you, God would be here saving you. And it isn't. This is what the ego does. You need a pill, don't you? And every time you take one, God has failed to heal you and fix you. I'm telling you, subconsciously, this is what the ego's doing. Oh, there's some flesh, that's naughty. Or there's some flesh, that's a solution. None of it's true. You look in the mirror and go, I look nice or I don't look nice. Based on what? The mirror. And your opinions. I wish I looked more like them. Well, they're miserable too. So, what do I do with this? It doesn't matter. Because you unzip that body at certain points in your evolution and you peel that body off and there's this radiant being of light. And if you were walking around the planet saying, well, I've lived 8,000 lifetimes and every time I'm a leg man. And that's all you've accomplished? If that's all you've accomplished, I think you're not getting it. Something's not quite right. At some point, can you unzip the body? Can you look at somebody, let them unzip their body, peel that off, and be a radiant being? You can still love them, marry them, hug them, make love to them, parent them, child them, or whatever it is, the roles. Be their boss, be their employee. But I am determined to see things differently. I am determined to see you as God sees you. It has to be an actual commitment. I am committed to seeing you as God sees you. Yes. And the ego's going to say, well, look, you got me. Darn it. You caught on and you're wanting to see people divinely. all right, I'll back off on the whole flesh thing and distraction thing. Out of love, I just want to tell you, it's going to be lonely now. I'm just saying, because I'm there for you. And it's lying again. And understand this, the yogis are telling you your senses lie. This is the word they use. They lie to you. Your senses lie. And the mystics are saying your body lies to you. Do you know what Jesus called Satan in his time on earth teaching? The liar. Yes. It didn't say, oh, evil Satan and with the tail and the pitchfork and, oh no, you mean the liar. The thing that tries to perpetuate other than the truth. I am a holy child of light. I'm a holy child of God. I'm so thoroughly in the way. It's amazing. Vertebrae are in the way. Muscles are in the way. I have belief systems in the way. I have patterns and programs that are in the way. I'm all in the way. But what did Christ call himself? I am the way. Not I'm in the way. And then Jesus spoketh in John 15:3, I am in the way. No, I am the way, meaning uninhibited. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I like that. That just popped through. So, wow, this is cool. Not in the way. I like that. So I need to learn to get out of the way. Please, talk the stuff, share the stuff, ask. And be careful not to get hurt if somebody says, thank you for being honest, but no thank you. That's beautiful. I honestly believe that's beautiful. Just for people to just, wow. There's this mother and daughter that were at that estate sale last month at a different estate sale, but the same company. And so, and they were walking by and I stopped. I said, excuse me, real quick. I said, so that the mom's there, I'm like, to the daughter, you're beautiful. I mean, you know, and I've said this to some of you, there's things, that's how I am. That outfit, that color, that hairstyle, you know, I see things like that, color and shape sort of things. And I'm like, you're so beautiful. You have such a nice energy about you. And I said, and I'm saying this in front of your mom so you don't think this is weird. You know, like, hey, do you come to these estate sales often? You know. So I find ways to be able to say things that I feel in a safe manner. Because if you're a spiritual teacher and you say things like that, people get weird about that. You know, I overheard a spiritual leader telling somebody a beautiful energy, oh, come online to the new age, you know. Hey, you know, Aquarius squared the sun, moon. Hey, you know, what sign are you? No, it's really, really honest and authentic, and I think it's beautiful. And I'm saying to you, and we're all going in that direction. We are. Where we can just, you know, I saw what you did over there, and that was really a kind act. I think that was really beautiful. Hey, you look beautiful today. Hey, I love the way you're smiling today. It's great to compliment people. That's another sign of affection. But again, behind affection can be, should be, healing. And behind healing means these things start disappearing. I love you. Come home. Well, I've got all kinds of thoughts and judgments. I love you. Come home. Okay, I'm willing to look at those. I love you. Come home. Now I'm in 12-step talking about it. I love you. Come home. Body work. Just letting that thing out. See, those moans and groans, those are pain, not physical. Those are emotional pains. Ow, ow, ow. Breathe through it. You can say, back off a little to your body worker, but be with it. Don't run from it and hide from it. Sound it out, because behind, that thing in there is somebody threw me under the bus. Someone cheated on me, and it's pain, but sound it out. Holding it down is going to kill you, literally or metaphorically. And that doesn't mean if something takes you out of this life, an illness, that you failed. That's nothing to do with it at all. Your job, no matter what, forgive. Hey, look, it looks like this thing that's happening with my pancreas is going to take me out of this world. Something's going to take you out of this world. That was your flavor of the month. That's what you chose. Something's going to take you out of this world. Most of you aren't going to go, okay, I think I'll ascend now, and just like Star Trek and beam up. Something's going to facilitate the process. Are you forgiving yourself yet? Yes. Isn't that cool? No inhibition, no stuckness, no. Just open and open and open. To feel, to just, and it's not just the aches out, it's the beauty in. oh, I love this song, for example, and just dancing and moving to a song. And some people are like, wow, you really like to sing along. Yes, uninhibited. And I'll close with this idea. Jesus is asked in the Gospel of Thomas, how do we know we're getting close to the kingdom of heaven? Jesus, he could, the 48th dimensional merging with the ascension process and the 16th realm with certain herbs snorted up the nose. And he could go into all kinds of things that people today would be making religions out of. Do you know what he said? When you can remove your clothes like a child, a 2-year-old, drop them to the floor and stomp on them and giggle and so on, you'll know you're close. Which I'm not encouraging this in this room. No, I'm saying his point was guiltless, shame. The kid doesn't even know to be guilty or ashamed. It's not in their mind. So he's not telling you to do the action. He's telling you to have the mindset where there just isn't, oh, that's wrong. Oh, and they shouldn't be hugging for so long. But that's us, and we're so messed up. So when you share a hug, when you share a smile, when you share a compliment, you can say, listen, I just mean nothing but sincerity behind this. That's a beautiful outfit. See, they can not go in to hear about it. They can, oh, thank you. Your extra words, your extra communication helped you become responsible and clear in what you shared. And it lessens people's tendency towards trips. Okay? All right, thank you. Please take a few centering breaths. We'll share just a couple minutes on an inner journey. I love that one of you asked about honesty, and that's part of what I'm saying about the communication. Just look, open it up. And if there's more in your mind, then just say it. Look, this is a little awkward for me, but I have an interest in A, B, and C. Just like you should say, I don't have an interest, if that's the case. Just put it out there. We still walk around like middle school kids being afraid to be rejected when we ask somebody to dance. It's so silly. We're children of God. Everything's okay, but we have to learn to bring it that direction. We have to create a world that's safer for ourselves and each other. Integrate and breathe in anything you heard that made sense. I really like that. I needed to hear that, and soak it in. Good. Just gently move your body a little bit and just look and see if you can find any spot that's stuck or tight. Any. Shoulders, any. And as soon as you find it, pause with it for a second. Confirm that that's there. There's a little something. And then just gently move into it with a sound. Ah, whatever that is. Oh, just let it make a sound. Guys, this is stuff from a previous life. It's something from 5 years old. It's something from last week. Give it sound, and then it doesn't have to stick. Non-judgment on it. No weirdness, no programs, just let it move. Breathe in and imagine that light of God from the heavens into your body, all the way through with that concept. I love you, come home. And a half dozen times, the wave comes in, I love you, and it comes out, come home. It doesn't mean die. It means come home in consciousness. I love you. Come home. Imagine that beautiful, gentle voice. The Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, Jesus, the Mother, whatever feels right for you, that voice, I love you, come home. I have no thoughts about it, no inhibitions, but if I do find any weird emotions, doubts, shames, undeservability, see it and just say it. Holy Spirit or Divine Mother, I've got to admit, I'm feeling, I don't know what it is, but a shaking going on in my gut, or I'm feeling an emotion, undeserving. I'm feeling tearful. The body just reacts because that's where something's stuck. So just say, so here it is. I'm going to give this to you. You don't have to know all about it, just that it's there. See it, own it. Give that to her. I love you. Come home. One or two more times. Hear these words. I am not a body. I am free. For I remain as God created me. I am not a body. You're not fighting it. You're affirming it's the truth. I am not a body. I am free. I remain as God created me. Hear that, see that, feel that, affirm that. Watch if anything else to the contrary shows up. But of course, watch if there's joy, appreciation. I am not a body. I am free. And imagine if you have children or friends, your soul says this to them, and just see how that feels. I'm not a body. That also means I'm not here to be taken advantage of or taken for granted. I'm not a body. I'm free. That's all I can offer thee. A free soul. I'm awake. There's nothing here for you to take. I'm awake. I get it. I am as God created me. And I affirm that you are too. Say that to any person from your past that's been a hurtful, challenging person. I am not a body. Look how it frees you. They don't have the same place to shoot as targets because I'm not a body. I'm free. And I remain as God created me. If you have thoughts and feelings to the contrary, forgive yourself. It's okay. To err is human. To forgive and affirm is divine. All people, I'm free. I'm not a body. Tell if you have in any illness, past, present, ongoing, look at it for a second and just say, hey, guess what? Diabetes or, whatever it happens to be. Guess what? I'm not a body. There's nothing here for you. I'm free. Be confident in saying it. I'm not saying it'll instantly go. It might. But your attitude should be, and I don't care. If you get focused on an agenda that it goes away, you're still a body needing for an illness to go. I don't care because I'm free. I'm already healed and whole. To people that you would share intimacy, but it's got that agenda, or it's all the action and body oriented, past or present. I'm not a body. I am free. And I remain as God created me. So I can use the body to join with others, but it's only if we can meet at this level. It doesn't mean it has to be all quiet and meditative. It's the consciousness, the intention. Are you willing to meet me at a place where we're meeting soul to soul? If not, I don't really have an interest because I'm awake. And lastly, tell death itself. A Course in Miracles calls that a certain obstacle to peace. Tell death itself. It doesn't matter. I'm not a body. I'm free. Global catastrophe, illness, it doesn't matter. I'm free. I am as God created me. Repeat after me, please. My life is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. My mind is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. My creativity is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. My finances are the Lord's and the fullness thereof. My friendships are the Lord's and the fullness thereof. My sexuality is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. My body is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. And just soak that in for a moment. No one of those was more important. It might feel, and that's okay, more important. But technically, they're all the same. My life is the Lord's and the fullness of my body, my mind, my thoughts, my opinions. Here I am. I remain as God created me. And I'll slip and make mistakes, but my life is the Lord's. So full forgiveness, I get it, lesson learned, and I get up, dust off, and walk forward again. Three more times to yourself. My life is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. 3 times quietly to yourself as the music slowly fades off. Breathe this in and integrate it. I am not a body, I am free. For I remain as God created me. That cannot change. It's not a hopeful prayer. It's the truth of God. And I'm getting it now, and I'm catching up to that now. And I'm becoming that now. And so it is. I pray that this has made good sense to you all. We're going to do our closing prayer in just a moment. But I appreciate everybody's co-creating of today's topic. How's it feel to you? Good, 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 good. It's okay. I am as God created me. You know, I will to be the Christ on earth. I'm here to assist with awakening. And it's just that as I do that, I just don't have an interest in being someone's target, being someone else's cash cow, being someone else's, just body. It just doesn't, as we grow and awaken, this is the mindset. We wake up and we kind of lose interest in what things we did when we were not awake. They don't make sense anymore. They didn't make sense then. But when I was insane, they did seem to make sense. But as I come out of my psychosis, spiritual psychosis, I'm going, well, you know what? Wait, oh my God, that doesn't make sense anymore. So the ego will not handle that well when it sees your awakening. It does turn up the heat a little. But the mother's in charge of my consciousness. The Divine Mother, the Holy Spirit of God's in charge. She will be with me when the tests arise. She will help me see them differently, and she'll help me walk through them. This isn't the human anymore that just pass or fail based on ego. It's like, no, this is all a greater mission, a greater lesson. And I am absolutely determined and committed to my awakening. All right. Can anybody share what they learned or heard today that made the most sense, just for 1 minute only? Yes? Say it again. We're souls. We're one with God. I mean, seriously, what are we doing? These silly behaviors. Yes?
First of all, there's so much in this.
So much.
Oh my God. First timers, what a blessing.
Or we're sorry.
There were 3 things. I love you, come home, forgiveness.
I love you, come home.
And then service. When you're of service, and that's the awakening you're reaching, things fall away.
Yeah.
People, situations,
Yeah.
work. I mean, that was powerful.
You shift your life into higher consciousness and the greater desire to be of service. There are things that will fall away. People, addiction, certain things that they'll just fall away. They kind of don't make sense. You don't have to fight them.
Right.
You don't have to abstain. They're just not even there of interest anymore. Anyone else? Yes?
I have a surgery coming up, and this has given me some calmness.
You have a surgery coming up.
I don't have as much fear.
Nice, nice, very good. If God is with us, what could be against us? So yeah, thank you. Yes.
I learned that we are also disconnected by volunteering and giving. We become more connected.
Well said. That we all, on some level, are aware that we're so totally disconnected from God, self, and others. And living that consciousness, this consciousness, and service, it helps reconnect us to love, appreciation, acceptance, and it's just fantastic. And the ego will find ways to, slap your hand about some of the, as you're trying to grow. You say to your children, hey, listen, I can't be just giving money anymore. And they're, oh, Mom, you don't love us. And oh, now I feel bad. And I'm telling a friend over to you, they don't love me. And she's like, well, how could you do that? Those were your children. Just say, get behind me, Satan. Listen, I'm just sitting down for some chamomile. Did I need that? Get out. And I don't mean you have to literally, but I'm saying when you try to improve your life, the voice of the ego doesn't go away. It often just intensifies. So if you have friends and they want to do that, they want to be the voice of shame, I would ask them, listen, first of all, you're on notice. Second, I need to ask you, this is a voice of shaming me. I just need to know, is that the role you'd like to be in my life? They might say, oops, sorry, we're good. We're good. Or, well, I just think, done. Jesus said it to Peter when Peter gave him a hard time about, oh, we shouldn't go to Jerusalem because that's an inconvenience because you'll be crucified, and that's not what I want. And Jesus says, get behind me, Satan. He's saying, I don't need any more voices of doubt in my life. I hear them loud and clear. I'm going to be beat up and crucified. He's aware of what's going to come, and it doesn't sound real good. So he's already got enough on his plate to deal with this, courageously walking into this and saying, that's enough. Get out of my way. It sounds harsh, but it was right to say. Okay, we're going to do our collection and our closing prayer. Please be as generous as you can be. We appreciate that. The bags are where you put your love offerings. The baskets are for any extra donations. Just you feel inspired, the generosity, the winning lottery ticket, and even a prayer of love and abundance to us all over that basket. That basket's for any extra that you can share. We appreciate it. Please share the prosperity prayer with us. Together, please. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Thank you so much. And bless you. I pray that the topic made sense. Even though we're talking about such a thing, flesh and body, it sounds almost, we're like religious, flesh is naughty. I'm saying the word became flesh. We just temporarily incarnated, temporarily for millions of years, temporarily entered bodies, but we became that thing in consciousness. We tried it on and became that. It's kind of a strange, that's why I call it spiritual psychosis. We put on bodies and went, I feel aches in this body, so I am subject to pain. Where's God? And we took this on as our reality. It's like that saying, you are what you eat. Well, we ate of the tree of knowledge. We ate of the tree of judgment. We bit into this idea that, look at us, we're mortal beings. We have this issue, that issue. And the ego just, all it has to do is get you to wake up in your bed and immediately, oh God, aches. Then wait till you get to the mirror. You know? That's where the real deep sounds of pain start. Oh no! And the ego's just, gotcha. You're a body. You're a limited body. No, I'm not. You have 3 months to live. Oh, I'm a body. Checkbook empty. Oh my God, I don't have enough. It's all it is. These are all ego-based testimonials that we are not as God created us to be. And I'm saying it's choice. You can believe what God says you are, or all the other voices that come from the ego, the multiple personality mind of the ego. And we have to get used to saying no. No to that negative voice, the lie, the liar. That person's so beautiful. Oh no, did you hear? They used to be an alcoholic. What does that have to do with anything? I'm just saying that's a beautiful soul. And it wants to go all the other places. Just say no. That's a beautiful soul. Someone's dying, beautiful soul. Oh, but the poor thing's dying. You're sympathizing? No. They don't need the sympathy. They need you to see their Christ self. Everyone needs you. Your drug addict children, they don't need you to tell them drugs aren't good. You think they haven't heard that? They need you to love the hell out of them. Just, I love you, come home. Hold that for your own children, your partners. You don't have to stay married. I love you, come home means that's my intention is to see you as you really are. And I'm holding that intention. Even if we part ways, I love you, come home. Please stand for our closing prayer. Nice job. Nice job. Those of you who are caregivers, by the way, God bless you. Thank you for taking care of people. Those of you who work with rescuing animals, I'm saying from all of us, God bless you. Any of you that attempt to do good in this world, man, I just mean it, heartfelt. Love you and thank you for what you do. It's so easy to get caught in the other and survival mode and not have enough to help others. Take care of yourself too. But God bless you, any of you who have taken time to make a difference. Hospice work, doula work, caregiving, massage, whatever you do to make a difference. Even if you're a contractor, but you sometimes give a discount to people because you feel it, God bless you. Any of us doing anything to make a difference in people's lives, that's the right thing to do. That's the right way to be. Soak in the gratitude of the Holy Spirit. You've made a difference. I can't download all the images of how you've made a difference, she says, all at once, but trust me, you've made a difference, and you are my beloved child in whom I am very well pleased. And one day you will totally know that and understand it. For now, do your best to appreciate it and soak it in. The light of God surrounds us.
We are the light of God.
The love of God enfolds us.
We are the love of God.
The power of God protects us.
We are the power of God.
And the presence of God watches over us.
We are the presence of God.
Wherever we go, God is, I am, we are, and so it is. Peace be with you all. Before you leave, share at least one hug with someone in the audience there, in the group there.